what role does intuition in reading the tape, or just in general, like with the flow of a stock? What's the
Yeah.
role of intuition? Does it play a role for you, or do you think intuition is just sort of something that people should disregard?
It's a great question. It really is a great question because now we could get into the actual definition of intuition. What is it actually, right? Because you want to make sure you answer this. You want to make sure you're using the word correctly as well as answering this properly. So, from my perspective of the word and how I use it, if you need to, number one, you need to train your intuition to know what to do. And in order to train your intuition, and I'll use some tennis examples or whatever because tennis is my world. It's like you can learn technique of tennis all day, where to put your feet and all this kind of stuff. But if you don't hit, you need to hit 1,000 balls a day, or you need to hit 500 balls a day, or something like that, in order to train your body, your mind, and everything. And that becomes your intuition now. Now your intuition is like, all right, I got the tools. I have the experience to go with the tools. Because if you just have the tools, you ain't got the experience. Your intuition is not ready. It's not ready to go, and it can't. It still can't be trusted 100%. It'll still get you in situations where, pretty ugly situations. So the question I think you're asking more is that, well, how do you get your intuition to that point where you can trust it? And then once your intuition is there, how much is that a factor, right? So in order to train your intuition, shit, man, you got to go through reps. You got to go through reps. You got to make trades. You have to make trades, and you have to learn and feel what it's like to make those decisions within fractions of seconds, and then live with the consequences. And then, as a result, not beat yourself up over the results of said consequences. Look at them, fine tune, continue to fine tune your instinct until you get to the point where, all right, your instinct has proven itself, which of course will be proven through gains, and then your instinct should know what to do, and boom, you're kind of ready to go. So I think those are the two parts of the equation for me. So my intuition plays a huge part. Most of the time, most of the time my intuition tells me, don't make a trade.
Hmm.
Most of the time, my intuition is like, nah, 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 nah. Now the question is do you listen to it or not? Now most people who even have a trained intuition, they still don't listen to it, man, which is the sad part of human beings and human existence. But at the same time, we've accomplished so much as human beings. You know what I mean? So who's to say what's bad or what's good and all that kind of stuff. So we can get into all these spiritual questions as well, man. I'll go everywhere if you let me.
That's amazing. I think it's extremely smart and wise to think about intuition in these ways, rather than just thinking that intuition is this one alone sort of, you have it or you don't, binary. It's more
Yeah.
of a spectrum, and something that takes time, to the degree that we're sort of bordering on the subconscious, and sort of like
Yeah.
muscle memory for, like you said, like for a tennis player.
Yeah.
Very much traders can build their intuition, it sounds like you're saying. Is that accurate?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% believe that. I mean, if we were to really go to the sort of spiritual conversations and human beings and all that kind of stuff, we do have this sort of built-in instinct. We definitely have this built-in programming that knows a good amount more than what we think it knows, right? We don't have a way to listen to it, or we don't have a way to truly access it per se. Sometimes in certain moments we're able to access it. Other times we just can't see past our overthinking or whatever the hell it is that our emotions. We can't see past all of it. So you know, I'm quite, these days I'll sit there. Most of the books that I read are all about stuff like this, decision making, and how we think, our history, what makes us who we are, instinct, and all that kind of stuff. But you also have to make your own narrative too. You also have to create what works for you. You know what I mean? And absolutely, intuition can be built upon, 100%,
I
hundred
think
percent.
I think that's extremely helpful.
100%. If you don't think like that, then you're going to have a lot of habits that you're going to feel like you can't break through, and you're going to assume that this is who you are and there's nothing you can do about it. And while many situations that may be true, there's many situations where it ain't true. It ain't true, and you can do something about it. And if you don't, that you're going to continue to feel whatever pain it is that you might be feeling, whether it might be trading losses or whatever the hell it might be. So I think it's important to realize like you can build that instinct, you can work on it.
And I also think it's very helpful that you had said that sometimes your intuition tells you to stay out of a trade.
Oh yeah.
I think that
Oh yeah.
might be polar opposite of what some of the newer traders feel, which
100%.
might
But
tend to lead to over
what you're
trading.
talking about is a false intuition. What you're talking about, that's not intuition. That's your emotion. That's your whatever it is that you want to put food on the table right now. Blah blah blah. That's not intuition. That's just the itch of the game kind of thing.